everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of a card hop where we were told to use the gel plate and or the Breyer and create a project with the theme of friendship. So as you can see, I'm going to use the gel plate and the Breyer. I'm not great at this. This is probably the fourth or fifth time I've used it, so I'm just trying out some techniques and trying to see what will work. The first thing that I did for my pools was to put down a very thin layer of white paint. This paint is just from Michaels. It's the regular one that's in a tube. It's not the very inexpensive one. I think it's the Michaels brand one. And then I put down a stencil, and this stencil is from Sassy and Crafty. And I picked up some sprays that I have lying around, Heidi Swap and some Recollections ones. Sprayed some colors on, and then I'm going to put down a piece of white copy paper and pull the print. Now, I've watched Allison Haikila do this a million times, and it always looks so easy, and I don't know whether it's user error or she's just magic, but my prints did not come out as well as hers do, but I did get a couple of good pulls. So you'll notice here that this paper is very wet because I think I probably should have waited for my sprays to dry a little bit, but I'm super impatient. So after this, I actually pulled a print with what was left on there, which is what you see now. That was the only thing that was left after that second print was pulled. And we're going to put some more white paint on there because we're going to do another stencil and some more paint. So after the first light layer of white paint, I'm going to squeeze out some pink paint and spread that on. Again, these are just paints that are from Michaels, and I think they're like $3.99 over in the paint section. They're just those big tubes. I have a ton of colors, and I just picked a bunch that went together. Purple, pink, and blue are pretty much the colors we're going to use with the paint. I'm going to get the purple out, and as you can see once I squeeze it out, the purple was a little bit thicker, so it was a little bit more difficult to work with. I don't know whether that means it's dried out or it's old, which they probably all are old because I haven't bought paints in a really, really long time. So again, spreading that out. And we're also going to use a stencil on this one. I think I used a stencil for everything. I pulled more prints than what I showed, so I just wanted to show you some of the better ones that came out. So now I am going to place down a stencil that is also from Sassy and Crafty. This one is super detailed, and one of the pulls that we do with this is what we're going to be using for the background of the card. So I'm taking that light blue paint and making sure that it gets all over the stencil so that I can get a good impression. So I'm actually putting it all over the plate just to kind of take some of that blue away. I'm going to take another piece of copy paper and put it over top and get a pull. So you'll see the results from this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the hop as you watch me do these pulls. This is a hop from the Handmade Happiness Facebook group. We're all part of that, and it's a monthly hop where we have different themes and techniques. So I hope that you guys join us, and I will have a list of all the participants in the hop below in the order that was given to us. And I will have the description for all of the hop and all the hop information down there. So make sure you check it out and make sure you hop along with us, because I have a feeling there's going to be some great techniques and things that you're going to see on here. Mine is just a very basic kind of beginner's thing, just playing with the gel plate, because like I said, it's only the fourth or fifth time that I've used this, and I've used distress oxides with it. Now I've used sprays, I've used paint. So it's a lot of fun, the different mediums that you can use on this. So I hope that you guys will try this out. And if you have, let me know in the comments below. And I would love to hear what your favorite size plate is to use, because there's all different kinds of sizes. There are shaped ones, I believe are ones with texture on them, and there's so many different things you can do with it. I am just starting to dive into all of this. So this, I tried to do the technique that Allison does all the time, where you put the stencil down, you put the paint on, and then you put a different color paint on top of it. Mine did not come out as well as hers, and I know I keep saying Allison's, but she's the one that kind of introduced me to the gel plate. As you'll kind of see there. I don't really show you all of the prints, but because not all of them came out well. But I just wanted to show you guys that I did do multiple prints because I had my gel plate out. So I will leave a link to Allison's channel also below so that you guys can check her out because she has a lot of great videos also with the gel plate. So I'm just taking the ink that was left on my Breyer, or the paint that was left on my Breyer, spreading that on as a first layer, and then putting down some blue. Was trying to do different techniques with layering colors, putting one color down with a base color, putting the stencil on and doing a pull with the stencil on, putting the stencil down and then inking over it and doing a pull with the stencil off of it. Just tried to do a bunch of different techniques to see what I could come up with because most of the time it's just experimenting. That's a lot of fun. I'm also going through my stencils. That's how the book that you saw was how I store my stencils in a 6x6 binder. And that was my one for Sassy and Crafty. So this is the third stencil from Sassy and Crafty that I am using. And I'm going to put some more of that really thick purple paint on there because I want to have the pink squiggly lipstick marks. And I'm trying to pick up my Breyer a little bit more. I know that's one of the things that Allison was saying is when you're, doing multiple colors, you try to pick up your Breyer rather than continue to just roll it back and forth like I'm doing here because it helps not smush the colors together. So that's probably what I should have done with that white and blue one. I think this is probably one of the last pulls that I did. So I'm taking the stencil off now and then I'm gonna do the pull. I've done opposite before. So I just wanted to try different techniques. So I'm taking a piece of copy paper and doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually going to put white paint over top of this before I get the copy paper. Again, trying to pick up the Breyer and not just roll it straight across. And I believe the reason that you put the white paint on top is to get a better pull. I think it gives you a base layer because that's the very bottom, the stuff you put on the top is what is on the bottom of your project. So that kind of gives it a nice base. So I'll do this pull, and I believe this is the last one that I showed you guys. I did a couple more. Actually, I'm gonna do a pull with what's left on here. So I did so many pulls, I forgot how much I did. And I actually did this a little while ago, and I was gonna do the voiceover last night because things have been crazy around here. It's renovation central. We are renovating the bathroom, and it was supposed to take 2 weeks. And we're working on about a month and a half. So I'm on lack of sleep, and then there was a huge storm last night. So things are a little bit crazy. I think now I'm just gonna show you all of the prints that I pulled, and obviously you didn't see everything, but here's what I came up with, and I believe this is the one that I picked to do my background from, that one you just saw. So I love that one. That has like a very shiny base to it because what I did was put white on the bottom of it. So that was as the first layer. So here's 2 other ones that I did that I put to the side to dry, so I found those after that. So now we're getting ready to do the stamping, and I'm using Crafty Desert Divas stamp set called Friend in Me, and we're going to be using 2 of the characters as well as the sentiment, "You've got a friend in me." I'm going to be stamping it on some watercolor cardstock. This is just leftover paper studio watercolor that I have from a project that I did. I'm going to ink it up in some MFT Extreme Black ink. I'm going to ink it up a couple times because I want to make sure that the image is nice and crisp. And then we are going to be using the Inktense watercolor pencils, which are my absolute favorite way to do watercolor. I'm loving them. So I'm only going to show you bits and pieces of this. There's a couple different techniques that I use. Sometimes I will color directly onto the image. Other times I will take my paintbrush, put some water on it, and then take color from the tip of the pencil and do that. So I kind of do both of those techniques here. I also will do what's called color mixing, and I will put down a little bit of one color, put down a little bit of the second color, and then put water on my brush and mix the 2 of them together. So that'll create kind of a third color. And it also helps with some depth and dimension, and it's such an easy way to color. I am not great at coloring. I have Copic markers, I have Inktense watercolor pencils, and I find that I do much better with the watercolor pencils. I feel like they're a little bit more forgiving. Okay, so here are the images all watercolored, and we're going to get ready to stamp the sentiment on the background. So I've cut the background down to a little bit smaller than an A2 size card, and I'm going to take the sentiment and stamp it in the top right hand corner. You can see that the paper is super flimsy because we used copy paper, and I'm just placing the images on my card just to make sure that that's where I want my sentiment, inking it up in that same MFT extreme black ink and stamping it down. So that's the whole card. I glued everything on, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I will see you again soon for another video. Bye!